All right, let's call the meeting to order. Can we start with attendance, please?
Urban,
Here?
Baber,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Mazu, Raber, Walker, Stidham.
Here.
Thank you so much. And we wanted to say a welcome to Brian Walker.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I know a steep learning curve here as I'm getting started, but I shared this when I was appointed that I have a deep appreciation for Parks and Recs in Boise. To give you a little background about myself, I've basically lived my whole life in the city of Boise and have worked 27 years in the Boise School District and have enjoyed many of the wonderful features that we have with Parks and Rec. And we've had a great partnership with the Boise School District and the city of Boise and with the rec programs. And so happy to be here and be part of this.
Welcome.
Yeah, and Madam President, I just would also echo, I've had an opportunity to work with Brian for several years as he previous to this appointment as, is it activities director, athletic director? What's your official
So
title?
my technical title, we changed things up a little bit from what it was before. I'm the director of student activities and athletics.
Okay,
And I also oversee sustainability.
well, there you
So
go.
That's
That
another good one.
sustainability is in a good spot with the athletic director.
Yeah.
But we had an opportunity to work closely with Brian, who was an area director prior to becoming before moving into his new role. So we work closely with him in a number of different areas as well. So we've known Brian well. We're very happy to have Brian as our representative. He's got big shoes to fill, as we always say, with John Rosiska moving on. But Brian's going to do a great job. So anyway, we're glad to have you, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on to new business. The first item on the agenda is an approval of the June 22nd minutes. Is there a motion?
I move we approve the minutes.
Great. Is there a second? Sorry. Mhm. Okay, can we do all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All right, any opposed? Did I forget the abstain? The abstain's last, right? Okay. I think the motion passes. Next up, we have a presentation on updates from Boise Parks and Recreations from the superintendent. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Welcome, Commissioner Walker. My name is Sarah Arkle. I'm the Parks Resources Superintendent. So I run the division that builds, maintains our parks and greenbelt and a few other things. But I'm here today to present a little bit of an update for you. It's not aggressively pointing at me. We've had a busy year. I think you've probably noticed that sitting up on this dais and listening to all of the projects we're bringing forward to you, and hopefully seeing announcements in the media about project completion and openings, which we're really excited about. So what I wanted to do today was run through some projects that we've closed out in the last year to 18 months and what's coming up for the next year as we enter into fiscal year 2024, which starts in just a couple weeks. A couple of dedications, just a few that we've been able to realize since last summer. About an accessible playground, which is over by South Junior High. I will say you probably noticed this last Monday, we did dedicate a communications board, and I may be not getting the name of that board exactly correct, but the purpose of the board is to kind of enhance the inclusivity at that accessible playground to allow kiddos with disabilities related to communication to have a resource on site to help them. It was really, really fun. I got to dance with the open arms kids, and that was awesome. Best part of my day. Franklin Park Playground and outdoor gym opened up in August of last year. We did purchase an acre property in an underserved area off of Shamrock Streets over between Fairview and over by Fairview and 5 Mile, excuse me. We do not have, we're not meeting our 10-minute walk goal in that area. And this property off of Shamrock Street, like I said, it's about an acre. We worked with the developer of the adjacent properties. We were able to purchase that below market value and can now hold it for future park development to, again, meet that goal of a 10-minute walk for everyone in the community. We opened Hawkins Range Reserve. That was a wonderful dedication in May of this last 2023. 7 miles of trails, horse trailer parking, really wonderful place. If you haven't had a chance to visit Hawkins Range Reserve, I'd highly recommend it. There's a 7-mile loop and then a 1-mile loop if you're not looking to spend that much time. Molinar Splash Pad and Skate Park. The Molinar Park is a beautiful park. We were able to add 2 wonderful amenities this last year. And Morrison Park feature, obviously that fountain is really dressing up that park. I don't know if you've had a chance to take your kids or your grandkids, but it was really fun this last summer. We had a couple of projects to improve trail accessibility, widening the trails, changing the grade where we could to make them more accessible for folks with mobility challenges. Pine Grove Park accessible playground was opened. And I think what I'd say with Pine Grove, and when we talk about accessibility, you know, there's the surfacing is a big element. Having the ability of folks to just walk or roll from the sidewalk up to the playground is a huge piece of just making a park playground accessible. But then we also have within these playgrounds inclusive features that speak to different abilities. So I just wanted to make that note. So as you see accessible, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Julia Davis Park East End improvements. Julia Davis finally got a restroom on the east end of the park. That is a huge amenity for Greenbelt users. It's a huge amenity for folks who are planning events on that side. We have the Cancer Pavilion over there and the, Doug, what's the name of it? Trevor's Trek, thank you. Memorial as well. And there's the pond, which is a lovely feature, and folks do use that area. So the shelter and the bathroom associated with those improvements will be a wonderful amendment for that part of the park. And then I had mentioned the Bowden Park Communications Board at the top. So we have a lot coming up, which is wonderful news because our parks, in my opinion, are the best thing in this city. Primrose Park, we have a groundbreaking scheduled for next week. That has been a few years in the making. It is a 1.5. Yep. So 1.5 acre park located off of Gary Lane in Northwest Boise. This was another spot where we were not meeting our 10-minute walk goal. Council and the mayor made it a priority to advance funding for this park. And we are finally at a point where we have a contractor signed and ready to go. And we are just working with them on their timeline at this stage. But the park amenities include an open play area, a shelter, an ADA van accessible parking on the street. There won't be a parking lot. It's just too small of a site. We didn't want to, and based on public feedback, really wanted to utilize the site to the best that we could with park amenities. There'll be a fountain, playground, shade trees, walking paths, and a pollinator garden. We're really excited to break ground on this park. We'll start staging this fall, and construction in earnest will probably start after the first of the year due to the contractor's schedule. Stewart Gulch Green Up. This is another one that was a long time coming. I think in 2017, we put in a playground and a shelter at this park. And unfortunately, we're not able to do the landscaping improvements with the remaining budget. So we are at a point where we can finally and excitedly put in irrigation, put in turf, put in trees, put in a walking path. Obviously, everybody in Boise wants to have a dog water drinking fountain because we love our pups here. And this project will have a groundbreaking for in October, coming up here next month. So another one that we're really excited about. The linear park and pathway at the Goddard Road site. This master plan, I believe you saw this master plan maybe in March of this last year and approved it. So I won't go into detail about how that was created, but I will remind you that it had significant neighborhood involvement and that this project started as a neighborhood investment project. The school district has been involved because Capitol High is right across the street. We're really excited. We're in the final stages of design. We hope to have everything buttoned up by the end of this month so that we can then get some budget in place for the development of the park. Just to remind you, oh, I thought I had a rendering after this, but I don't. But to remind you, it's going to have a nice pathway that will connect to off-street sidewalks and trying to bridge that gap between Spalding and Hyatt Hidden Lakes with a linear park and pathway in between. It'll be beautiful, and there will be a lot of wonderful involvement with the school. Pollinator gardens can be used for educational purposes, multi-use pathway, shade pavilion and seating so that it can accommodate educational opportunities for the school, and also folks who just want to have a little respite in the middle of, what can be a busy part of town. Spalding Ranch. We acquired this property in 2016. It's a historic site, 22 acres, I believe, owned by one of Treasure Valley's first female doctors. And we were excited when we purchased it, and then we had to figure out what to do with it. So after a multi-year master planning effort with the community, we have our marching orders. And this year we're finally going to put in site access, which is huge, right? We can't put that site into production until we can start to get people in there and out of there easily, trucks, materials. So this is a big step forward. Irrigation will be installed, utilities for future development, water, power, and pathways. We just, had our bids finalized, I guess it might have been 2 weeks ago, and we're working on a start here this fall. Good news is our bid came in under budget, so we have the money we need to do the job. So I'm excited about that. So looking forward again to 24 projects, we will kick off a master planning effort this fall for an undeveloped portion of Charles F. McDevitt Youth Sports Complex. It's a 30-acre park, and about 10 acres of it are not planned, not developed. Currently, the amenities on the park include Little League fields, restrooms, picnic area, pond, skate park, a small skate park, and open play areas. We will probably kick off reaching out to stakeholders and doing a large-scale public outreach effort within this neighborhood this fall. So that's going to be really exciting and a good conversation. So those are kind of just a smattering of projects that we're going to be moving forward with this year. Happy to answer any questions you may have to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much. Did you have anything to share, Director?
Madam President, Commission members, I would like to point out when Sarah was showing the list of the projects, if you notice the common theme of accessibility and inclusivity, how important that is to us and to this board. So I don't want that to kind of slip through as Sarah was talking about how important. She gave some definitions on accessible playgrounds and it's not so much that like the play features, everything is totally 100% universally accessible. But what we are doing is we're building in components of all of our play facilities. So whenever we replace a playground, we're trying to make it a playground that is available to everybody, have features that are available to all abilities. So the communication board that we did just dedicate on Monday at Bowden Park was really a cooperation with the Boise School District. And I'm going to get the titles wrong, but the folks in their organization that deal with students that have communication challenges, whether it be visual, hearing, other auditory, translation. So this board is actually translated into, I know at least Spanish language for sure, but it was the school district that reached out to us and said, you've got a great park that play feature is 100% universal. So it is accessible by anyone with regardless of the mobility consideration. It's the only play facility we have in our entire inventory that is like that. And that this board would add so much more to that and make it really something special. It is the first board of its kind in the state of Idaho. So I want to thank Brian and the school district team for reaching out to us and having the idea that this needed to be added there. Because now what it has done is it's going to springboard us into adding these now at every park site in our system. So we'll start working towards that. But I just want to make sure that the commission, your goals are to make sure that no one is ever left out with any of the assets we have in our community. And we're working hard to continue to meet that goal, and we'll continue to do that. But I just didn't want that to slip through because there's some buzzwords up here. But even in some of like the Ann Morrison Fountain, we call it an interactive fountain. It is completely, totally accessible. I mean, regardless of your mobility consideration, you can use this splash pad. You also can use the art piece that you see in the picture. It actually has a ramp that you can, regardless of your consideration, get right up into the feature and actually use it, have photographs taken. I mean, no one is left out of this fountain. And so anyway, I just wanted to make sure that everyone on the board understands how important that is. I know to you, and it is to our mayor and our city council. And we're working hard to make sure we have a city for everyone.
Madam President, commission members, and Sarah, it just super excited about the Goddard project. That I actually live in that area, and I can't tell you how many flat tires I have changed of my kids with the goat heads in that area. But that is going to be tremendous for that community. And then the Spalding project also that plan on working collaboratively on accessibility and how the connectivity of all of that as we work through with Capitol High School, how that kind of fits in between all of that. So we look forward to working together on those.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing what the next year brings for sure. It's my understanding we don't need to call for an executive session today. Excellent. Well, in that case, if we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Wonderful. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Just a delay. We're good. I think we have adjourned. Thank you very much.